As many of you are aware, our elected fiscal officer resigned February, I believe it was the 7th, leaving the board 30 days to make an appointment before that appointment becomes the responsibility of the probate court judge. Mr. Dan Matsko had signed on with us as an assistant in August, September? July. Okay, it was July of last year. Mr. May needed some help. There were some issues. There's some catching up to do, to be sure. And Dan jumped right in with both feet. I was going to say months later. Was it? When did we appoint you as deputy then?
December 1st.
December. We had reason that Fred was somewhat incapacitated, and we appointed Mr. Matsko as our deputy fiscal officer in order to keep paying bills and doing township business. And that was much appreciated. Okay, so upon Fred's resignation, we discussed it as a board and took a course of action that we would consider applications or letters of interest from township members or township residents that were interested in the position. We did receive a couple. I would say I certainly took consideration of them over the weekend. Mike, I'm sure you saw them as well. And
Me too.
we had three, actually. We had three. One from Mr. Matsko. Dan being in the position, obviously, I'm going to say had a leg up, and when he disclosed that he had interest in the full-time position, I would say obviously he would be the lead candidate. So at this point, Dan, we appreciate everything you've done in his unofficial role, but I would like to make a motion that we appoint Dan Matsko as our full-time fiscal officer, well, part-time job, but our
How about just fiscal
dedicated
officer?
fiscal officer in Auburn Township.
Before we vote on that, I just want to say, I did look at the other two applications that we got. I know Brian's here tonight, he's very qualified, and so is Mr. Roth, also very qualified. But again, I concur with you that we've put a lot of stock in Dan already, who's brought us up to speed with some of the things that we had to do. So there's no question that he would be the lead candidate, and I would agree with your assessment.
Michael, anything?
Yeah, I concur. And again, the fiscal officer duties, people kind of think of it as basically an accounting position. That'd be the equivalent in a private organization. But everything that has to do with the township finances is so specific. The accounting system is very specific, and I mean, Dan's been working on it now over 8-9 months, and it took him that long really to get into the point where, let's say, not to understand 100% of everything, because I don't believe anybody does in that accounting system, but with what he's got going and the fact that we have to keep this moving, that really, there was no contest for who was going to be taking that position. So I concur that Dan is by and far the most qualified candidate for that position.
Okay, I made the motion.
With that, I'll second the motion.
There's a second. Want to call for a vote?
Gene,
Yes.
Yes.
Mike, PJ.
Yes. Congratulations. I'll give you, we're going to do the oath here. Raise your right hand. I,
I,
Dan Matsko.
Dan Mansell.
Okay. Do solemnly swear that I will support, obey, and defend the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Ohio, and that I will discharge the duties of fiscal officer in Auburn Township.
TJ, about 4 words at a time.
In
He's
Geauga
looking at you
County,
like, what?
with high fidelity.
Or you could just
Okay,
say I do.
and I will discharge the duties of fiscal officer in Auburn Township, in Geauga County, with high fidelity.
I will.
Thank you. Okay, you need some signatures here? Congratulations.
Just takes me back to Animal House.
Yep. You need to sign it?
He does, and then there's a couple down, well, Nancy needs to notarize. Yeah, Nancy needs to notarize. So,
That's the only thing?
Yeah, I'm gonna put this right here. Congratulations, Dan, and thank you.
Congratulations, Dan.
Some minutes.
And we have two, February 6th.
So there's any additions, corrections?
I think you specified one addition at the last meeting
That was from the February 6th
on
one.
February 6th. I can't remember to look.
It was a fill in the blank. I think we left something blank and it needed to be filled in.
I think it was Dan's son-in-law who, we didn't have his name in
And
it.
we fill in the blank.
Nancy did.
Yeah, there.
Oh, yeah. The Pledge of Allegiance was
Yeah,
led
I
by
believe,
Christine.
yeah, I believe that's it.
Geez,
All right.
Dan, you didn't even remember your son-in-law's name?
I will make a motion to approve.
Second.
PJ,
Yes.
Jean,
Yes.
Mike.
Yes.
February 20th.
I saw nothing.
Have any comments? I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay, I'll second that.
PJ,
Yes.
Jean,
Yes.
Mike.
Yes.
Okay, first meeting of the month, we do scheduled reports from the zoning inspector, Mr. Frank Kitco.
Okay, gentlemen, should all have a report for activities for the month of February. We processed 5 applications, pretty well spread out there. Second building, an addition, a fence, a sign, and 1 new house. Did spend quite a bit of time still working with Crafts Champion and that situation up there in reference to additional parking that must be added or to accommodate everything. Once everything is up and running, they still do not have a total conditional use. They do have permits to build, but the use that they still have to come back to the Board of Appeals for approval. And that's what we've been working with them. Now, I'm gonna make you gentlemen aware, I have 2 issues in the township that both have been referred to the prosecutor for her action. Now, this is a new policy, I guess, from the prosecutor's office. Once I turn that request and she starts the process, it now becomes your issue. That has never, in all my years, it's never been that way before. But that's the way Christy is approaching it. So we have asked for, and Jane and I have filed everything on our end to request prosecutor's action. It has reference to do with short-term rentals in 2 locations in the township, besides the one that we won court case on. These are 2 additional ones. And she has responded back that all action will be with the trustees. So I don't know if one of you guys want to reach out to her and see where that is in the process. I don't know. But I know that we have turned them over. I know she has sent the letters, she's done that part of it. But as far as we're concerned, let's proceed to the next step. Let's not drag, one of these has been going on since last May. And because of the Mara case, everything was kind of put on hold until that case is over. Well, that case is over, we've won 3 different levels, you know, it's over. So let's proceed, but it's, you know, that, this is something new to me in all the years I've been doing this, that now any action she takes from now after she files in court is with, she will deal with you guys.
Is this something our prosecutors decided they want to do?
I guess,
Or is
yes.
this Ohio Revised Code change?
I'm not 100% sure, Gene. I haven't personally talked to her myself. I just know that that's, we requested the action. She did, at least preliminary, she sent her letters, which the first step in everything, when I file that big form with her, with all the information is, the first step normally is then the prosecutor's office sends written notification that you are in violation of zoning, such and such and code, and so forth and so on. Please reach out to Mr. Kicko's office or to my office to get this resolved. And neither one of them, I know that the one on Auburn Road, I don't think they have responded. The one in DTJ has not responded at all. But but that was, you know, always in the past, it's always been until it actually got to the judge, and the judge said, okay, either we're gonna go through a judgment entry, which Mike has been involved with before, or we're gonna go to court. The trustees weren't involved. This is something totally new to me. She said now all action is with the trustees, so.
Okay, well, you know,
So I don't
full
know.
disclosure, she's gotta know that we're gonna consult with you and Jane.
Right, oh, absolutely.
So
I think it's a, I know she's getting swamped,
yeah,
and I've had this when I'm dealing with the prosecutor's office before, where she's got Frank calling her, Jane calling her, the zoning board calling her, commission calling her, and so
okay.
when they start to get themselves backed up, they just want to say, okay, filter it through us, and then we make the request.
Right.
So I think it's pretty much that simple. It's not a
Right.
That
big
doesn't-
legal issue or anything
that
else. I
makes
think
sense.
she's just trying to make sure that we're aware of what's going on, and then we can control what actions.
Brian, aren't you a prosecutor for another township? Is that
What?
something that you've run into, or not?
I'm not legal counsel for the township, and I don't work for Geauga anymore.
I know you
So-
weren't in Jaga, but I'm just wondering, like I asked Frank, is that an Ohio Revised Code or just our prosecutor's office?
It would probably be the prosecutor's office. I'm not aware of a revised code section, but it would make sense because if there's gonna be a legal action that is gonna be filed on behalf of the township speaks for the board, and it would be, so.
Okay.
So, now, like I say, I'm just making you aware of the fact that we have done this, and, you know, it's been, in one case, it's been several months, the other one has been a month or so. But we requested prosecutor's action, and she may be reaching out to you eventually, I don't know, I just know that we have done it, you know, and it's,
We could just make a motion to send a letter approving those specific actions.
okay.
So if you guys want to do that, then we get Nancy draft a letter. You can give the specifics on that.
Yeah.
And
It's
so,
just, you know, like I said, this is, up until it was actually filed in court, always before, you know, it was always between my office directly and, but anyway, you guys, I made you guys aware of it and everything, that's the key, so, yeah.
you
But I
guys
know
wanna do that?
she's-
Yeah, you wanna make that motion, Mike?
Yeah. I'll make a motion to send a letter to the prosecutor's office. And there's 2 cases that we're going to send that up. Give Nancy the specifics of that so we can get that into the letter.
Yeah.
I'll second that motion.
EJ?
I mean, if I may, you want
Yep.
to maybe make a request to the prosecutor's office to pursue the legal action that, you know, Mr. Kitco is requesting, so.
Okay.
just as a suggestion, I'm not trying to.
No,
Yeah.
thank you.
So.
He's gonna bill us
No.
minimum 4 hours. I know how they work, man.
I was gonna ask you why you didn't interview me, but, you know.
Well, that's another whole subject with the prosecutor's office.
About
Am I right?
About interviews.
About
for-
going into executive session.
Yeah, yeah.
You don't have to go into executive session.
No, we
Interview.
don't.
No, we don't,
And we won't.
but we used to.
You could interview in the public.
We could.
Anyway,
Go
Okay,
ahead.
we got a motion in a
I
second.
got a motion.
PJ,
Yes.
Gene,
Yes,
Mike.
Yes.
that's all I have.
Yeah, she'll probably ask for a contact then after she gets this and starts, so we'll figure that one out. And Rick Gordon is our township highway superintendent. Welcome back, feeling better?
Yes, sir.
And we've got some stuff to go over, don't we?
Yeah, I got some new emails today as well I'd like to discuss with you first, and we'll go over that as well. Okay, Auburn Township Road Department report for February 2023. The month saw 4 weather events that required 6 rounds of plowing and/or salting. 4 weather events in February of all things. A total of 150 tons of de-icing material was used. This brings our new monthly average to 489 tons. So you see our average at 489 for February, we only used 150 tons, so. I got some salt left in the dome there. The ODOT contract that we're involved with, we need to take delivery or at least order our entire contract by May 31st. That would be, Dan, that's around $87,000 for 1,800 tons. This will be the first time that we're gonna purchase the minus 10%. ODOT's plus or minus 10% you can purchase. We always go in for 2,000 tons. I do have room for 1,800 tons in there, which will bring us up to 2,000 or just over, so. This will be the first time, as well, that, to be honest with you, in March, I've had a couple events, but the 2 months coupled together don't even equal 1 month itself, so this is, in all my years being here, this has been the longest one, I think everyone will agree. There were some high wind events and an ice event that did cause several trees and large limbs to come down. We did have cleanup on Quinn, Stafford, Taylor May, as well as Saybrook and Adam Hall had a large tree come down as well. Hole patching was done on various roads, and we will continue until the asphalt hot mix plant's open. Dan, I gave you that requisition for that new company. They were gonna purchase the
Oh, yeah.
cold mix from. This
Jogga
new
Highway.
company, yeah, Jogga Highway. This new company, they're out in Shalersville, and in the past, we'd have to go downtown to High Grade down there and pick it up. They're charging the exact same amount as High Grade, it's up to $100 a ton right now, but they're willing to deliver at a 10-ton load at that cost right to our shop, which, so we don't have to do any chasing. And we typically use 8 ton about a year of cold mix, so I'm gonna go ahead, once you guys approve that, we order that, we can have some batching material. Preliminary tree and brush clearing was completed on our capital improvement projects with Sanctuary and Golden Pond and Bridge Creek Trail. They did go in there, we got those taken down. We were looking at the Indiana bat situation, and Gene, I know we talked about the cemetery there. I am going out for a couple other prices to see what we get there per acre. That being said, it looks like where we're gonna come in, if we wanna discuss that in the fall, the cemetery, I think that'll be the time. But I think we're gonna be past that March 31st deadline there. You've been up to the park.
I have.
We have all that acre. The trees are removed, the stumps are ground. We're gonna wait till the ground is a little harder there, till we go in and take out finish the grubbing on phase 1, and that'll be finished, so. That's good, that's looking good up there. And actually, I know you drove up there, PJ, and said what a difference it does look
Yep.
coming up there, so. I'm in contact with Dave from Buckeye there, who we're gonna work with there, so. I know he's talking June, July, I'll see if we can move that up a little sooner. and get
Yeah,
that in there.
you hate to dig up any dirt. The way it's been
Well,
raining
what happens now
anyway,
being so soft, you put more aggregate in
Sure.
than if it was hard enough, so. But it does look good. It's gonna be
It
something.
should
I'm
be
happy with
adequate,
what-
it should flow right, you know, I kind of miss that dramatic when you come around the corner and you see all the buildings there kind of coming out of nowhere, but that's where the parking lot needed. to
Well,
be,
now that the
so.
trees are down, it looks a lot bigger than when the trees
Yeah.
are standing there. It'd be
Well, that's,
ample
yeah, that's where
room
the
there,
parking needs
so.
to be, so.
Yeah, it'll be good. On Bridge Creek, PJ, I know that we have a quote there, from Kodash Excavating. Now, he did the large pipe, the 90-foot length over on Valley Road there, and we worked with him. Looking at the price here and looking at what I received in the email, I know that they're estimating the 24-inch at around $20,000 for that if we put it out. And I think he'll dig for 7, and then we'll supply materials of pipe and the aggregate, and we'll do the work ourselves there.
Yeah,
I wanna go over first, before we do sign that with him, I wanna get the other names out there and sit with the information I just got today. And I'd like to sit with you, go over it first, make sure we're doing the right thing, and then we'll go ahead and hook up with Mike here.
okay, we don't need any action on this tonight then?
I think we can wait tonight on it. Yeah, what I'd like to do, and in the engineer's notes that they sent me, they have a completion date of May 26th. So, I would believe the next meeting would be appropriate then. But I do just wanna offer up what they handed me as well today, and then we can pour over it, make sure we're doing the right move here.
Yeah, they were good to work with on that Valley Road thing, and that was an emergency situation.
Yeah, yes, it was, yeah.
So,
Right, and that pipe was 9 feet deep
yeah.
down on the ground there, so and these guys have
These are
equipment.
deep, so.
As well as he also has the steel plates to go over the road, because it is a cul-de-sac, and it's a dead end there, so we can't shut the subdivision off. So we will have the road, we'll do it half of the time, we have the road plated, so. Yeah, so if we can wait on that to the next meeting, I'll reach out to Mike. and
We
let him
will
know.
absolutely have
Yeah,
that on
and
the
then you and I
agenda
will
for the
get
next
together
meeting.
on
Yeah,
that. I handed you guys the Auburn Township Senior Pickup Days. That would be the 1st and 2nd, and then the 3rd will be the Trash Day. April 22nd coming up will be roadside cleanup, and we'll go ahead and secure a 10-yard dumpster for that as well, as we did in the past. And Mr. Sheffield here will get your grill up and ready. And that's it, that's what I got for you.
okay. We're gonna talk about that truck bed a little bit later on here too.
Okay.
Any questions for Mr. Gordon about the roads? Okay, we'll move into trustee reports, and we'll start with Mike Troy.
Okay, one thing I wanted to go over is, we got our bill for the fireworks. The total fireworks cost is $15,500, and we pay 36% of that based on population, which is $5,580. And then, so that's the fireworks for this year. And this is an estimate, we're gonna use some of the costs from last year. We had dumpsters, generators, entertainment, all multiplied out at .36. So that comes out to $7,380. So we've got a requisition in for that, because we will be getting, I think, a bill for the down payment if we haven't already.
Well, I think we just signed the check for it, didn't we?
Okay, so that's in there.
2,700.
So that's gonna come out of this requisition, so we have basically all in just in one requisition. Second thing I wanted to go over is, and Chief's gonna help me out with this, we had ARPA funds that we had sent to the fire department. And there were 3 items on there. We had the
Radios, SCBA's, and beer.
right. And but the main thing that we're looking at now is that they did get a grant for the the air packs.
Yeah.
And how much is that grant, Chief?
It,
270?
It's a little over $270,000 that we got from the federal government. It's a two-phase grant, it's for air packs, and it's for upgrading our extrication tools that we use on automobile accidents and other situations like that.
Okay, so among the checks we were originally going to send out today was, one of them was going to be the check for the ARPA funds. We talked to the fire department, they're okay, we're gonna hold back on that check, and they're gonna revise the request, because that was the 37,000 we had designated for airplanes. And those were our top 3 projects. I told them to continue down the list then, and to find something so that they can use those funds on the subsequent projects. And then we-
Something of a similar cost. Like
Something of a similar cost.
Yeah. Okay.
And then we can change our, what we designated those funds for.
If I might, wasn't aware that the conversations were occurring at this point. There are match funds necessary from the fire company in order to accept the funding from the AFG grant. I'm not sure what the match funds amount is right now. It is usually 5% of the total project. That will stand. However, since the grant was delayed over the normal 12-month time frame that it took to get it, we are going to be looking at potentially some significant cost increases for the items that we're looking to purchase. So one of the conversations that was had, at least within the fire company walls, was possibly using a portion of the $37,000 as a source for the matching grant
I
funds.
have no problem with that.
So that would
That'd
be,
be,
So I said-
5% of 270 is like
it's about 15, it was about
13,000, 14,000.
15,000. But again, I think we're gonna be looking at, on one half of the equation, we already got about a $5,000 increase on the extrication equipment. We have to follow some proper things going forward. So we're still waiting on the updated quote for the SCBA. Again, that's one that concerns me a little bit, just with the way everything else has been going up lately, the increase could be significant.
Okay, so just come in with, again, as part of that, the increase, but we have to add to it.
Sure.
And if there's anything left beyond that for the 37,000.
Right. And we're still buying air bottles, which was, that money was originally
Yeah,
Right.
still buy the same thing.
dedicated for, just we're buying much more.
So,
Thank you.
what happened was that application was out there for a while,
Mm-hmm.
and you
It
had no
finally
idea
did.
what was coming or not, so
It
that's why
finally
we
did,
started
that's why
talking
we-
about it.
Yeah, that's why we did
Okay.
run right out.
Well, the longer it was stretching out, the less confident we were that we were gonna have that money coming in, so.
It was actually, again, it was actually on both projects, we had a radio grant out there also, and we didn't purchase the radios until that grant notification was received, that we had not been accepted for that grant. So we got that part of it was going, but we're waiting on this one. So,
All right, so how long do you think when will you be able to have that information?
I would hope within, we have to make a determination whether or not to accept the grant, which actually we'll do, that has to happen within 30 days of the notification, which was the 21st. So again, there's still a question of how many bids or quotes we need, and I'm having our vendor who supplied the base information hold the upgraded quote in case we do have to get 2 more, so that everybody's playing on the level field. I hope we get that information this week. We'll have some.
So the radios aren't coming in for a while either, so
Correct.
you don't need the money right away, so,
That is correct.
yeah, just then let your leisure just come back when you've got
Yep.
that, and we can make the amendments on this end.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you, that's a nice grant, that you're able to obtain that.
Okay, that's all I have.
That's all you got, Gene?
I have nothing tonight. I will relinquish my time because I know we have a lot of resolutions to go over tonight.
Yeah, we do. I'm gonna briefly bring up, since we're talking about costs, the revised estimates from the engineer's office that we got, last week, 10 days ago. We're looking at our asphalt projects, which of course that's the bulk of it, resurfacing. Gone from 660 to 8.25, is that correct? Was it that?
Another 17%.
Yeah, yeah. Pretty hard to, well, we can't maintain that initial slate of projects. So I gotta say, heavy consideration, and Emmerich's of the opinion that our Thorpe Road was the chip seal for this year, that we're gonna have to delete that. You know, we could catch a break here or there between now and then, but in the meantime, it looks like that's a project that's gonna have to set aside. Because,
One of the things we are looking at is the drainage update over on Quinn and Bartholomew for our OPWC project, and they want that to happen this fall prior to construction beginning next year. So it's actually $120, almost $130,000 more than anticipated, than original estimate. And that money, I believe, based upon their suggestions and their estimates for the drainage that we're doing now on their projects this year, I think BJ's right that we're probably looking at well over $100,000 to do drainage work over on Arlington over there.
and this needs to be done in order to get the OPWC grant for next year's work, you know, this is free money. So, yeah, we gotta get the infrastructure right before we can use it. Just a lot of curveballs out there, you guys are finding out the same thing, you know. And we'll rework up the sheet for, you know, we just had the road program here, and we'll do the revised one here on paper for the next meeting. The ARPA money, Dan's done a ballpark accounting of where it's going. We're gonna do another resolution tonight on that. You know, so far we've steered it towards the fire department, purchase of a new plow truck, the parking lot expansion. Tonight we're gonna talk about the computer and the IT in this building. It's not a very big one, but it's all coming out of the same ARPA money. There's 3 phases to that park project, and Dan, if I'm forgetting something, let me know. But the way it looks, is a ballpark estimate, is to complete the parking lot expansion and everything to date that we've designated as ARPA funded type projects. We remain with about $200,000. We have, it's at least another 24 months to spend this. And the reason I bring this up is because we've had some discussions on this. The truck came in 6 months before the build out, so it's gonna come in. We aren't gonna have this truck in service before, I'm hoping by start of next winter. But we're still waiting on that as well. There was some thought of paying for that remainder, it's about $100,000 now with ARPA money. I prefer, we can borrow, I've done, this is the other thing I wanted to mention quickly too, is I've chased a couple of loan, as we generally would borrow money for these trucks, and we put them on about a 4-year schedule of payments. This one we'll be looking at to finance just the build out for 4 years, which is, banks are, that's acceptable. They still want the title, you know, as collateral. And interest is, I thought it was kind of surprising yet, it's under 5. That's as of a week and a half ago. So I would kind of prefer to keep that ARPA money sitting there for 2 reasons. One is, you know, we had that pipe collapse on Valley Road, you know, you don't know what's gonna happen. It's some disaster type of thing, we can't keep it forever, I understand that. But it also gives us some time, like if you guys think of a project, or, you know, you want a pickleball court, we can build a whole pickleball court for $200,000. What do you think?
Is that a motion?
No. But, you know, it opens some possibilities, I think. And if interest was 10% on this truck loan, yeah, we'd pay cash, but I think at 4.6, I think it'd be wise of the board
I was
to.
thinking, okay, we got 24 months, you know, as we get toward the end, if we haven't had any projects come in, we always pay off the loan early.
Yeah, true.
So this way, you know,
There's another
it's not
truck,
hurting us anything.
there's another truck to be ordered here too, and this one we already been waiting for 18 months, you know, on build out on it, so. The other one's coming up on schedule quickly. Anyway, that was my thought, I don't know, what do you think, Gene?
I agree, I concur.
Yeah. So,
There's no rush.
we're probably gonna leave that
Yeah, that's it.
in the kitty for a bit here until a rightful expense comes up that we can use that on. I mentioned the loans. Before I forget, we needed to, a letter from Chrissy Ryan, so. Well, I know what it said, so I'm gonna make a motion to rescind the position of deputy fiscal officer. That's on her advice.
I'll second it. I would also say, in the near future, we should also look for an assistant to the fiscal, because I think what got our last fiscal officer in some trouble is that he couldn't keep up, and he was behind, and you see what that's caused. So I would say in the very near future, we should look at an application for an assistant to the fiscal officer.
I would agree, and that's one reason I appreciate the applications we got. Thank you, Brian, and the other fellow that applied. These are people that are interested and live in the township. I guess that wouldn't be a requirement for an assistant, but it's good to know there's people out there.
I was looking, there's also some up-and-coming changes in the ORC that the fiscal officer can select a assistant and specify their compensation.
Yeah.
So it used to be the trustees would look at compensation.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about some things that are required now to catch up tonight, a little further down the agenda. But you're right, once things get back back to ship shape, I think an assistant for the fiscal officer would be a wise move. And honestly, Dan, if you ask for one, we're obligated to hire one for you. That was also in the revised code.
You want to vote on the motion? to rescind?
We do need to vote on that motion.
TJ,
Yes.
Gene,
Yes.
Mike.
Yes.
All right, that's all I have. So, Mr. Matsko, what you got?
Most of my stuff's in new business, with the exception of, at the last hour, I got a call from the county auditor's office. Apparently, when we approved the temporary appropriations in December, one of the funds was off by $1.
I might have a clock, I don't know.
Well, so I had to adopt, we got to propose resolution 2023-10 to decertify the temporary appropriations for fiscal year 2023. And on today's date, be it resolved, the Board of Trustees of Auburn Township, Geauga County, Ohio, that it is necessary to adopt the following. Decertify temporary appropriations for fiscal year 2023 and amend resolution 2022-48 to reduce the capital project fund 4902 Auburn Community Park on the attached spreadsheet by $1 from $1,656.22 to $1,655.22, reducing total of all funds by $1 to $4,927,523.76 in compliance with ORC section 5705.39, appropriations limited by estimated revenue.
So when all's said and done, and that's filed, that'll cost us about $55. Right?
All right, I'll make a motion with that.
Second.
PJ,
Yes.
Gene,
Yes.
Mike.
Yes.
That's all I have. The rest is in the new business.
Okay, we'll start with the old business. We have been talking for several months now about updated information technology in here, and also kind of a relocation of most of the brains of the operation, electronically anyway, over there in the kitchen. We've got a quote from Geauga County ADP. Before we consider that, though, I do have a resolution, the boilerplate resolution to spend ARPA funds on this. We've read this in its entirety twice, and I'm not gonna put everybody to sleep tonight with that again, but Reader's Digest version would be the whereas the township has received a distribution of monies, ARPA funds, from the American Rescue Plan Act of 2021. We're allowed to use these funds for general expenditures, the type of expenditures that we normally make. And this would certainly fit the bill for one of those. It would be under,
General Government Administration and Administrative Facilities.
okay, general government administrative and administrative facilities, yes, that's exactly right. And that would be in the amount of $37,933.89. So this enables us to spend this ARPA money. So I'll make the motion to adopt that resolution, and it's gonna be, is that 08, Dan, 2023-08?
Yes.
Okay, that one.
Second.
That includes all the hardware, labor, and the cabling from.
Right. As we discussed last week, we were holding off till we had
Yeah.
both of those so we can put them together.
PJ,
Yes.
Gene,
Yes.
Mike.
Yes.
All right, so this is a quote from Geauga County ADP Board. It does line up with their original one. We've been kicking this around and adjusting it for a couple of months as well. And they were a fair sight less expensive than the initial company we were gonna go with, but we couldn't agree on a contract with them through our prosecutor's office, so we had to discard that contractor, but we hooked in, well, it was the county township meeting, we hooked up with this group, with Antonucci, right?
Antonucci, yeah.
So initially, that was gonna be approximately $18,000 for new hardware. We decided to include some work at the road department. I think there was a couple of additional laptops or something. So that has been upgraded from that initial 18,000 something to $23,015. And then you have installation charges, which would be one time, $3,750. And the recurring charges, which we went over in depth with ADP a couple months, or a month and a half ago, whatever it was. And those are gonna be $6,280.34. And that's gonna be an annual expense, or yearly. So that total for that technology, and we got one more thing to talk about, is moving the wire. that total for that technology is, 33,000?
33,045.96.
There it is. Yep, that number right there. And I just went over what that included. So looking for a motion to go with,
I'll make that
Jog
motion.
ADP. I'll second it.
TJ,
Yes.
Gene,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Okay, to facilitate that, as I said, we're gonna move all the incoming out of the kitchen into this room. And that was as recommended by the ADP board. It's probably overdue. That work is with an Auburn company. Quote for $4,887.93. That's with Cable Communications Inc. Incorporated.
Motion to accept their quotation.
I'll second.
Communications.
TJ,
Yes.
Gene,
Yes.
Mike.
Yes.
Alright. So we're moving on then to new business. We already did that ARPA resolution for that purchase we just made. I hope we got that in the right order. I'm sure we did. Dan, we did that was supplemental appropriations, 09. Did we already do that?
No.
No, we got another one.
Okay, Board of Trustees, Auburn Township, Jogga County, met in regular session on March 6th, 2023, Resolution 2023-09. Be it resolved, the Board of Trustees of Auburn Township, Jogga County, Ohio, that it is necessary to adopt the following. That's a $20,450 supplemental appropriation to ARPA Fund, account 2273-760-730-0000 for improvement of sites. That's the tree removal and the initial
Excavation.
phase one of the
Yeah.
project.
Yep. Okay, motion to adopt, 2023-09.
Second.
PJ,
Yes.
Gene,
Yes.
Mike.
Yes.
And then Charter Communications paid some franchise fees. $5,275.24. Mike, what do you think we ought to do with that?
I don't know. Land acquisition and improvement fund maybe? That's my
new.
motion.
That's new. Okay, I'll second that.
Mike, you made the motion?
Yes, I second it.
TJ,
Yes.
Gene,
Yes.
Mike.
Yes.
Okay, we're gonna do Kodash at the next meeting, so we'll just move that on. Dan, you got some comments on the quotes from the state auditor's office? There's two separate ones.
You guys are getting ahead of me.
All right. Take your time.
He's just appointed as the fiscal officer and slows down.
It's all right. Thanks.
Well, Nancy will be all over if I don't get this right. Yeah, we got two letters of engagement from the auditor of the state's office. And one is
She's got a number one.
One is to prepare the financial statements to be in conformity with another comprehensive basis of accounting and regulatory display requirements prescribed by the auditor of state based on information provided. In other words, what they're gonna do is do a complete reconciliation of month by month of all the books for 2022. That's one. And then two, they're going to, no, two is, one is, that's two. They're gonna reconcile the township's cash journal with the bank for the period of January 1st through December 31st. And then this copy one, they're going to prepare the year-end financial statements. And I'm told that's not uncommon when you transition from one fiscal officer to another, to ensure that the books are in proper order.
Yeah, I mean, we're committed to get the books in the proper order here again. So, yeah, these are split into two separate projects. And number one, the reconciliation that Dan mentioned. It's estimated that 20 hours will be needed to complete this project for 2022. Those fees will be billed to Auburn Township at the rate of $60 an hour, and the total cost is not anticipated to exceed $1,200 for each year of the contract. And it's 1 year contract. So, if additional times are necessary, we will notify Auburn Township regarding any amendment to this contract that may be required. I'm gonna make a motion to contract with the Ohio Auditor of State's Office for services we just discussed. Reconciliations, correct?
No, that's, number one's the financial statements, number two's the reconciliation.
All right, financial statements for 2022. But that was the proper expense. They're $60
Yes.
an hour, not anticipated to exceed $1,200. So I'll make a motion.
Second.
PJ,
Yes.
Gene?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
All right, so the second proposal, Dan, what would you summarize this as? What would you title this as? Just in short. That's reconciliation.
That's reconciliation of cash journal with the bank. So they're looking at what our book says compared to what the bank record says, month by month for the fiscal year, January 1 through December 31st of 2022.
That's a significantly bigger project. It's estimated that 136 hours will be needed to complete. Fees for this service will be billed monthly to the township at the rate of $50 per hour. Total cost not anticipated to exceed $6,800. If additional time or services should be necessary, they'll notify the township regarding any amendment to this contract that may be required. And in the situation we're in, I'm gonna make a motion to enter into that agreement as well with the auditor's office.
A second.
PJ,
Yes.
Gene?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Okay, and we're gonna come back to you just a little bit on this Judco thing. That, once again, Dan's discovered there's some background we need to do before we can issue a purchase order on this. I talked to Mike Ludwig, who's doing a lot of he does a lot of background on this stuff. Yeah, we got some things to do. We're waiting on another quote from another bank, but we feel pretty good we're gonna wind up under 5% interest unless something spikes in the next 2 weeks or something. Cost on that build out for that truck, we have the truck now, but we're still waiting on parts. Started at $87,000 for the bed and the plow and all the hydraulics and the necessary things, spreader. And now it's up to 102. That's through Judco. they're giving us their word that that's what the price is gonna be. But since we're unable to issue a PO tonight, I'm gonna make a motion for the record anyway, now that we enter into this agreement with Genco Truck Equipment for the build out of the new plow truck. And that amount is $102,000. No, $102,860.
One second.
EJ,
Yes.
Gene,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
The cost of these vehicles, we should start praying for a lot of snow.
Or they'll last a lot longer, right? Depends on that. That brings us to the bottom of the agenda, so, any public comment or anything tonight, Chief?
Boy Scout Troop 101 pancake breakfast went very well. We had about 570.
Wow.
Place was packed. Tore up the grass a little bit, I'm sorry about that, Mr. Emmerich, but it was a very good breakfast, they did a great job. They're like an army of ants that came in. I think everybody had a good breakfast, and I think we'll have it again next year.
It was fun, thank you.
2 days next year, or just the one again? Just curious, would that many people?
They were talking about doing 2 this year, but they thought it'd be safer to do 1.
The one.
I was in Connecticut, but I made sure that my 3 granddaughters came, and I checked with each one of them, and they said it was very good, so.
The line was all the way around the bay. All the way around.
Just
I've
stayed,
never
just
seen it
stayed
way.
that long, too.
That's good.
Just stayed that long.
I didn't
No,
talk
that
to
was
PJ,
fun.
I saw him, he was in the line getting pancakes, I was at the end of the line, by the time I got to the front, he was someplace else.
He wouldn't give you any cuts or anything? Did you tell me you were the trustee? They didn't help?
Yeah, I did, that's when they put me in the back
Back
of the
of
line.
the
Did you tell me you had a free card?
Nope, in fact, I did not bring my free card, they were asking me what my card was, I said, hey, we don't use them, we pay our way.
I hope Nancy gave them away to somebody. Anybody else? Well, thank you for coming out, everyone. And we got everything.
Where's your mallet? Your thing is,
I don't know. Are we,
yeah,
we good? Let's make sure we don't wander up with the wrong stuff here like our promo do.
this needs signed.
All right, we thank everyone for coming out tonight.
do we have to do a motion?
Well, I'll be searching for that motion.
So I will make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
EJ,
Yes.
Gene,
Yes.
Mike.
Yes.
Time? 8:29.